So this year, my 4-week project was a joystick controlled set of servos, which kind of made an arm. What I bought was called a tilt and pan kit. It's meant for two servos that go about 180 degrees. So one is on the x-axis and turns like that, and the other is on top of it, sitting on top, and goes on the y-axis. And it's meant for to mount something. I didn't really figure out what. I maybe could have looked, but I didn't. Anyway, I ordered that online. I got the two servos and parts of the tilt and pan kit, and so that was pretty simple to set up. I had to wire it correctly and set up the breadboard, the Arduino. I had to code a little bit. My first step of my project was to build actually everything together. I took the tilt and pan kit, assembled it, put the servos in it, and then I got the parts last week, and today I put them together. Two servos, they're running in a sweep program, so they go all the way as far as they can, and they come back all the way. This is my first step of my project. Next I will probably be looking at making the controller hook up, and then figure out how to code it.
Very cool.
That was kind of a big step in production. It was kind of, okay, well I just made this happen. And anyway, so my next step was to use that nunchuck to control the servos to make them turn in any direction that I want to. I actually found this project online. There's a gallery of like Arduino projects, and this really caught my eye. And so I just decided that I'd just go for it. And there was a nunchuck that had been donated to us, so I was like, oh yeah, and I don't have to destroy any of mine. So what I had to do for that was I had to strip it, and there's 4 wires that come off the nunchuck, 2 of which are ground and power, and then the other 2 are part of a communication called I2C. What I did was I connected those wires to a breadboard. I actually had to solder them. I had to strip the wires, solder some like thicker wire on so I could actually put it into the breadboard, and then I took those wires in from the breadboard. I routed everything correctly and put them into the Arduino. What my project plan said was I would type it all out, and I'd learn this language IC². It's a communication language for masters and slaves. So like the Arduino is a master and the nunchuck is the slave. So information goes from the nunchuck to the Arduino when the Arduino asks for the information from the nunchuck. So I was using this to control the 2 arms. So for the coding, the nunchuck isn't used to communicating with an Arduino. It's used to communicating with a Wii remote. So there's a problem. There's this gap that needs to be filled between the nunchuck and communicating with the servos. And how that's done is there's an Arduino, the bridge that gaps the two. For each individual system, there needs to be something called a driver. In this case, the nunchuck is what the driver is for. The Arduino, that any information that's coming in needs to be evaluated this correct way, otherwise it's not really being used. So it's kind of like a translator in the way that the Arduino needs to understand what it's being told and then tell it to something else. So it's just an in-between state. So that's my project. But there's a lot of things that I kind of messed up and really should have paid a little more attention to. IC², I didn't really learn about till the last few days. I really should have been looking at that probably the first week, how it works exactly, because it all started to make sense at the very end because I started to actually look deeper into it. And so that concludes my project. Not really much else to say. I've included the website and URL for the project guide that I found. It was basically all I really needed, besides maybe some knowledge on I2C. And that's about it. Thank you very much for watching.